We're just a stone's throw away from the Strip here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Friday Night Fights on the Deuce, and we are at the All-American Sports Park. The first ever boxing event to take place here at the All-American Sports Park, and what a fantastic facility inside. They have batting cages, driving ranges, you can drive a NASCAR. But we have boxing tonight. It's presented by Budweiser, a 10-round welterweight bout. Kofi Janutah and Daniel Santos Pena, a bronze medalist representing Puerto Rico in the Olympics. And there is Kofi Janutah, 5'11", 150 pounds, 17-0 with 8 knockouts, although Fight Facts was only able to verify 11 of those wins and 5 of those knockouts. Several of the other wins came while still fighting in Ghana. His opponent, ranked number 9 by the WBC, Daniel Santos, the 23-year-old fighting out of Las Vegas, born in Puerto Rico. 20-0 with 15 knockouts on his resume. Coming off a huge win against Ray Lovato on March the 6th. Let's take a look at the rules as governed by the state of Nevada for this first bout of the evening. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. No standing 8 count. Fighter may be saved by the bell only in the final round. Only the referee can stop the fight. Accidental cuts, they'll go to the scorecards after 3 rounds are complete. Prior to that, it will be a technical draw. Teddy, Jay Nady in the middle. We'll get a look, and this should be a very interesting fight because Kofi Janutah is a guy that not a lot of people know a lot about.
No, he's a guy that's done it the hard way. He started fighting in Ghana, as you mentioned, and in only his 6th fight, well, actually his 7th fight, he was already going 8 rounds, and then in his 8th round fight, he went 12 rounds. There's not a lot of fighters in Ghana, so they have no choice. They have to get in there with good fighters right away, or they don't make it.
Moved to the United States in 1998 to further his career, taken over by Azuma Nelson. The great champion from Ghana saw Janutah fight as a youngster, and Janutah wound up moving into his home for 18 months, and he learned a lot from the great Azuma Nelson.
The old professor, good guy to learn from. And he's going to need everything he's gained from that with this southpaw in front of him, Danny Santos. Stop! Santos, of course, is a terrific prospect. Guy who was a great amateur. 1996 Olympics for Puerto Rico, he won a bronze. 117 wins reported and 3 losses in his amateur career.
Controversial loss, too, in the semifinals to Russia's Oleg Saitov. We get a look at the knockout ratio. Santos gets most of his business done, 12 of those knockouts within the first 3 rounds. But Kofi Janutah is a guy that feels that his strength, that's one of the keys for him, and that he will be able to sort of use his strength against Santos Pena.
Well, he's going to have to, because definitely as far as the advantage of skills and experience, Santos, you would think, would be the sharper boxer because of that huge amateur background, winning a bronze medal in the 96 Olympics. And of course, Janutah, not a big amateur background, only about 25 fights, he said.
Nice right hand by Kofi Janutah.
Santos is really going to be tested tonight. He really hasn't been in there with much. This is definitely a big step up. His last fight was his biggest step up to date with Ray Lovato, who he stopped in the 2nd round. And that was a big step up for him because Lovato had challenged for the title against Trinidad, the welterweight title.
We saw Santos here on the Deuce back in July when we were in Miami, and he had a pretty impressive 3rd round knockout against William Ruiz of Colombia. But since that time, he feels that things are starting to come into place. But right now here in this first round, he has really noticed the power of Kofi Janutah.
The only thing Janutah is doing wrong is he's following Santos around the ring. He's not cutting the ring down, moving to his right. Right now he should slide over and keep Santos in front of, not follow him in a circle. Because if he follows him in a circle, then Santos, of course, can pick him off coming in. You want to dictate control, navigate that ring. But Janutah, a strong guy and a determined guy, and a guy who's got to be hungry. I mean, Santos, a guy who has good management, good backing, was Olympic bronze medalist. There'd be a reason for good backing. Janutah, a guy from Ghana, as I said, in only his 5th fight, he had an 8-rounder, his 6th fight, a 12-rounder. So he's got to be hungry. He's not a guy that's going to be really babied along. He has to earn everything he gets. That's a dangerous opponent.
We talked about Janutah working under the tutelage of Azuma Nelson. Daniel Santos prepared for the Olympics working with Felix Trinidad. He says, we're very good friends. If I ever have to fight him, though, this is business, not a romance novel. pretty good round number 1 for Kofi Janutah against Daniel Santos, scheduled for 10 here in Las Vegas. Well, coming up in our main event, Antonio Diaz will step into the ring and square off against Marlon Thomas. Diaz, born in Mexico, now fighting out of California, 26-2 with 19 knockouts. Thomas, of course, from the Motor City of Detroit with 18 professional wins. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas. Glad you can join us for Friday Night Fights on the Deuce. Hope you enjoyed the hockey game as well, as Pittsburgh gets a 2-zip win in Game 1 against Toronto. And Teddy, you talk about April. There's a lot of showers, but hey, we're in a new month now.
Oh yeah, with the month of May, of course, comes flowers. But of course, for our main event fighter tonight, Antonio Diaz, he hopes it comes another win. And in order to get that other win, he's got to, well, first of all, he wants to get to the top junior welterweights in this division. And in order to do that, he's got to get past Marlon Thomas, who comes from the world-famous Kronk Gym. And Marlon Thomas is a talented guy. And he's going to not be throwing rose petals tonight when he gets in there with Mr. Diaz. Well, so it's a good test for Diaz.
Well, we'll find all of that out coming up in tonight's main event, but we continue with round number 2 between Kofi Janutah and Daniel Santos Pena. And a pretty good round number 1 for Janutah, and I think Santos Pena felt some of the power from Janutah in that first round. We'll take a look at some of the statistics for you. CompuBox at the scene, and you see Janutah with a decided advantage in punches landed, meaningful punches, and punches thrown in that first round.
As we said, definitely a big step up for Daniel Santos, who is a terrific amateur, terrific prospect, but who has not been in there with real top guys. But tonight, we're going to find something out about it.
Again, that right hand, Teddy, is finding the mark for Janutah.
Janutah's doing it the old-fashioned way. He's not a guy with a lot of experience. He's taking a page out of the book of the old-timers that feel right hands with the southpaw is the way to go. A lot of the modern-day guys feel the left hook is the way to go. You step to your left outside the right foot of the southpaw, and you're able to get that left hook working. You're able to get away from the right jab, get a good angle, and be effective with the left hook, and even walk them into right hands. But the old-timers, the right hand leads. And you can see Janutah definitely has that on his mind. And I could understand it for a guy who didn't have a lot of experience, Bob. He would pick up from trainers and from kind of hearsay of being told, hey, he didn't get a chance to really do it too much in the amateurs, so he's going to go the way of what he's heard.
And when you have a guy like Azuma Nelson teaching you, not a bad deal. There's a good right hand to the stomach of Daniel Santos Pena, and Jay Nady says it was a little bit low. Good left hand from Janutah.
Janutah sometimes comes in a little wide, a little crude. He is not the most experienced guy in this ring tonight. He's not the most skilled guy. He might be the most determined. I think Santos is going to have to show a will, not just skill, if he's going to win this fight tonight. That's really where the testing is going to be. You can see that Santos is trying to control the outside part of the ring before Janutah can get close and use his power.
Teddy, let's talk a little bit about punch volume here. Janutah is throwing so many more punches than Daniel Santos. He's obviously landing more accurately. What does Santos have to do to get his offense going a little bit?
Santos he's the taller guy. He's got to punch. He's got to punch at the right distance. He's a more skillful boxer. He's a more experienced guy. He has to let his punches go at the right range, not wait till Janutah gets into range. He throws the straighter punches. Those straighter punches can get there before the round punches, obviously.
Glancing left hand scored as well. So far through the first 2 rounds of this fight, little known Kofi Janutah of Ghana taking it to Daniel Santos.
Hit to the gap in right center. Guzman. Oh, can he get there? Holy cow, what a catch by Guzman. That's All-Star team. He saved at least 2.
ESPN presents Profiles. I feel my best race was Mid-Ohio last year. That was a very important one, especially after the problems in Michigan. I had to put the problems aside and concentrate on that race. Physically, I was not feeling well. The temperature and humidity were high. Scott Pruitt put the pressure on the last 22 laps. All that aside, we were able to capture a great triumph in my career.
Welcome back to Friday Night Fights on the Deuce from Las Vegas. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas, Daniel Santos in the black trunks, and Kofi Janutah in the red-gold trunks. And so far through the first 2 rounds, Kofi Janutah has taken this fight to Daniel Santos, and right hand has been the key. And you see Janutah again pressing forward.